Good morning. My name is Adam Kahn, and welcome to The Rational Investor. I changed my name to The Rational Investor from my half-assed channel because I'm watching lots of YouTubes that, from my opinion, scare people out of investing. But let me start with my usual because I am going to give some advice here. I'm not a financial planner, I'm not an accountant, and I'm not a lawyer. Please use any of the information on my channel for entertainment purposes only and reach out to your financial planner, your accountant, or your lawyer for any financial decisions you guys make. I say that because my goal with my channel is to get people comfortable with investing. And I was talking to my brother today, and he was telling me a story about somebody he ran into at the coffee shop he frequents and chatting with them about markets. And the discussion was about a guy that the person was following on YouTube, and they're predicting a huge recession worse than 1929. As the conversation continued, it turned out that that person's been predicting that since 2002. Now, my guess is they have an awful lot of followers, and the hyperbolism of their channel, where they're talking about this next terrible collapse, worse than the 1929 recession, gets people excited and gets a lot of viewership. Whereas my boring stuff about you need to ignore the news and continue to invest doesn't drive a lot of stuff to the channel. Well, unfortunately, I think that's the way it is. And scare tactics and making people believe that the world is coming to the end is what sells. I mean, it's what works for the news and the media and everything else. So I have a feeling that's what works on YouTube as well to really drive your channel. That being said, my God, if he's been predicting a correction worse than the 1929 depression since 2002, think of how much you've missed out since then. If you've stayed uninvested because you're concerned that things are going to get so bad that our currency is going to be worthless, housing will be worthless, stocks will be worthless, there'll be a one government economy, and. Well, I think that you always want to invest. If you're in the position to put money away, try not to stress about whether you're putting it in the stocks or bonds or real estate or gold or silver or whatever. I mean, the real concept is to continue to save so that hopefully one day you can use that money and not work every day. It's not a matter of will it be better or will it be worse. It's a matter of be smart with your finances and do the best you can. If the sales pitch of everybody online who drives business to their channels is the real estate market's going to collapse because that gets a ton of views, and they talk people out of buying real estate, well, what else do you do with your money? So let's play out a couple of scenarios, especially of the ones of the gloom and dooms. Let's say that, my God, we've gone too far and our government's going to have to print a ton more money and the dollar's not going to be worth anything. Okay, fair enough. If your dollar becomes worth less money, do you think you will need more dollars or less dollars to buy stock or real estate or gold or silver or Bitcoin or whatever it is that you want to buy or think about? Well, logically, if the dollar is now worth what 50 cents was, you'd need twice as many dollars. So wouldn't you be in a better position to buy it now before that gloom and doom scenario plays out than wait for your dollars to be useless and worth less money? And if the dollar gets stronger, well, you won't need as many dollars to buy those things as well. And maybe they come down in value, but your dollar would be stronger. But even the bad scenarios don't mean that you shouldn't be investing and letting people scare you out of this stuff. Is the stock market going to fall 20, 30, 40, 50%? Maybe. I don't know. And hopefully you're in a position that you're working and spending less than what you make and can buy things at a lower price. But I still wouldn't not buy today because some guy on YouTube is predicting that the markets are going to collapse. And I watched this guy the other day. I thought this was one of the funniest videos or most ridiculous things I'd ever seen. He was talking about people who had written him because they regret buying when the rates were really low. And the conversation was essentially that now they're stuck and not in a position where they could upgrade the way they were hoping. Well, too bad. Like, thank God you bought something and got in where rates were low before prices went up. Would they rather have been in a position where they didn't buy and the rents were higher? It just doesn't make any sense. Sure, they might regret that they didn't buy bigger or more and push the limits a little bit, but it sure sounded to me like they did the right things. One of them had bought a good starter home, and now it was 2 years later, and there were four people squeezed into a two-bedroom, and and the prices have gone up as well as the interest rates, and they were hoping to upgrade into a bigger place. I still stand by the last comment. Well, thank God they got what they did, because the follow up was they bought a $350,000 home and their payment was like $1,400 or $1,500. Why would they have been better off not buying because now they feel like they're stuck? Otherwise, they would just be in a position of the same thing of interest rates being higher and costs have gone up without have owning that property. Maybe there's some regret that they didn't buy a bigger place the same way, geez, I wish I bought Amazon when it was way cheaper, or this or that or the other, or I bought more of this when it went up. Like, it's just silly to have a regret because things have changed. If they're anxious to move into a bigger place and not in the position yet, maybe they need to come into grips with the fact that they're not financially in the position to upgrade yet. Like, part of that is just life and things in general, not a matter of regretting what you did before because now it's more expensive. I still say thank God they bought it. And to the one who's talking or watching the YouTuber since 2002 who's been predicting this huge downturn, my God, what are you doing for these people? In the meantime, it's been 21 years, 21 years of predicting this huge collapse. So I try not to worry about if the huge depression is coming because it's out of my control. And if it came, I don't know what position I could be in that would be okay. I mean, I've seen things where people who were very well established were in terrible positions and there were no jobs and no this and no that. I'm not really sure that that's anything that anyone can prepare for. So better to just continue to invest in whatever it is you think is a good investment. You know, so when I was in college, I interned at a brokerage company, and I won't say which one, it doesn't really matter. And this is when I first got uninterested in going that direction with what I wanted to do for a living. So basically, what that firm did is they would send out a paperwork to all the stockbrokers as to what to put to tell their clients to invest in. Well, I liked the stock market and I liked investing and I liked doing the research. I didn't like that they would just give a piece of paper and essentially say, go sell this now. I'm guessing that hasn't changed and that the products that they sell have probably changed, but that the general philosophy of this is what you sell hasn't. And that the people who contact clients are just peddling whatever their companies tell them to sell to the clients. Well, I don't see any reason I can't make the decisions for myself. I'm not even really interested in index funds or anything else. I can pick 10 or 20 stocks that I'm comfortable with that I think will grow over the next 10 or 15 years and continue to put in them. I don't think I should worry about the ups and downs and the fluctuations and everything else. As the market goes up and down and whatever else, well, maybe one investment does poorly while another thing does well. And if I diversify and spread out and have a little bit of gold and a little bit of stock and a little bit of real estate, well, if there's big inflation, maybe my gold makes up for that. If the economy booms, I have some stock and some real estate. Like, there's all sorts of things to be scared of. But please don't let these guys scare you out of saving for your future, because that's all they're doing. Uh, really, like, while you're sitting there watching them and they're telling you how the housing's going to collapse and the stocks and the this and the that, and they're causing you to not invest. They're causing you to not save for your future and put yourself in the right position. And the last thing I want to do is be really worried every second of every day of which one's going to fall tomorrow. So maybe I just set up an amount that I can put away each month and spread it against some things that are okay. If you guys want to know what I invest in, that's fine. I'm happy to share it. Again, not a financial planner, just a guy sharing my information and what I believe. But what I believe is I want to have money invested, and dollars is also an investment. So I don't want 100% of my money in cash not growing, and I would like to be constantly putting away. I mean, my God, I don't care if you like baseball cards or artwork or vehicles that are investments. I've told my wife, she likes purses. I've told her she should look into it and learn the market, because they seem to have become investments as well if you buy some of the ones that people collect. Like, I don't think it matters so much what you put in. I just want to see people invest and save money. I don't want to retire and rely on Social Security or things of that nature. I want to save what I can and live the way I can. Now, inflation makes it tough. Things have gotten more expensive, but I don't really see that changing or going back to the way they were. Maybe we see a slowdown and some things come back in line, but I also think the inflation has put things in perspective where a company can actually make a profit now. I owned a restaurant previously, and the margins were so tight, it was very hard to make a living. I kind of look at the prices and how much it's gone up, and I end up making a decision of, do I want to go to this restaurant or not? My guess is what the Fed's done is they've made it profitable for some companies where they're not so stretched anymore. And either the companies are going to survive or they're not. And it's pretty harsh on the ones that may not. But it does give the ability for the ones that have demand to actually make a profit and survive at the same time. On that end, I think Powell's been pretty clear that he's going to have to hold rates higher for a longer amount of time. My guess is they raise another quarter and then they wait a while to see how things play out. Maybe he slowed it down properly where we don't have to do much more, but I don't really see this big pivot coming because demand hasn't really slowed down and the economy seems okay. I think we could get lucky and have a soft landing despite everyone else is getting more nervous about it. So do me a favor, like and subscribe, and do yourselves a favor and stop following that guy that's scaring you that the end of the world is coming. Like, it just doesn't do you any good. All they're doing is causing you not to save because you're so sure they're correct. Maybe they are. I'd still like to have some money saved. Anyway, have a great day. I hope you're enjoying yours. I'm going to go back in before it rains. I'm here in California, and I got a feeling we got a little bit of rain